Hi, my name is Jasmine, and today I'll be teaching you how to do a sit spin in figure skating. Sit spin is a very important basic spin position because it teaches the skater how to get used to aligning their body over their center, even in a different position that they're not used to while they're in an upright spin. Because they're really working on that balance of having that foot both in front and also sitting back all the way over that heel at the same time. And skaters really need to focus on figuring out a way to align their body in the way that they're able to balance and spin effectively over the foot. Before beginning any type of sit spin, I'll make sure that my skaters are able to perform 1 foot upright spins, including scratch spin, effectively before starting to learn the sit spin, because it's really important for the skater to understand where on their blade they're going to be spinning and that they have nice rotation already before trying to do anything more advanced. One of my most favorite exercises before starting a sit spin is a shoot the duck, and I have all of my students learn how to do this because it's the most important in figuring out your balance and aligning your weight over your foot in order to glide effectively over the ice. So all of my skaters learn how to do a shoot the duck beforehand, even if it's at the 90 degrees that's required for a sit spin or lower than that, just so that they're able to feel where they're supposed to be over their blade. And we really pressure these in making sure that they're able to do solid shoot ducks before starting on sit spins. When doing a shoot the duck, you want to make sure that your skater is either hitting the 90 degree that's required for a sit spin or lower, but we want to make sure that we're not above that 90 degrees, because when they're going to actually add the inertia of the spin, it's going to be a lot harder for them to push themselves down into that squat position that we're looking for in a sit spin. And if it's easier for them to do it just skating in a straight line, it's going to be much easier for them to transfer that sit position when they're actually spinning and there's that extra force added onto it. So when my skaters go here, what I like to do is I will have them hold onto their leg or not hold onto their leg, whatever is their preference, but we'll skate forwards, and I usually start by a dip and then they stick their foot out in front and hold this position and then come all the way back up, just so that they're getting used to that sit position. I will try to teach it to my students without holding onto their legs, but most of the time they prefer holding onto their legs and they're able to sit a little bit lower. But I definitely want to make sure that they're able to do it with their arms out, at least at 90 degrees before we work on the spin. One of the most common errors that I've noticed when teaching a sit spin to my students is that a lot of my students will go and they will kick their foot in front, similar to kicking a soccer ball. So that is what we want to eliminate, and as we're pushing into the spin, we don't want to kick that foot going in front like this after we push into the spin and kick through, because that's going to reduce the speed and reduce that snap that we get into the rotation that we need. And we really want to focus on bringing that foot and drawing a big circle all the way around into that sit position in front of us. When working on the sit spin, in order to reduce that kick in front, I'll have my students come over to the boards and I will have them start in this lunge position. So they'll go down in a lunge position and then they will bring their foot all the way in front and hold it in front. So they'll start all the way back here in this lunge position and we'll bring that foot all the way in front and sit into our sit position all the way there. Another thing that is the most important to remember when they're bringing that foot all the way around is that as they're bringing their foot around, they don't want to keep their toe turned down. So you don't want to keep that toe turned down because it's going to be difficult to pull those knees all the way back together in the middle and also open that toe later in the spin. So when we're going here, we want to bring it all the way around, and halfway we're going to really open up this hip and my toe is going to be turned up, which is going to make it a lot easier for me to snap that foot back and already have the inside of my boot facing upwards to the sky. As with everything, when we're doing a sit spin, I like to teach it to them from standstill first and then work on adding the speed and the wind up to the spin. So as we're starting here from standstill, I like to have them have this nice wind up right here, and already when they're pushing into the spin, they're going to be at a lower squat position. So after they're here, they're going to push and they're going to be down in this lunge position, and they push off the ice and they're going to be cleaning off that table with this arm that's across their body. So you really want to have this core turned away towards the direction that you're going. We're here all the way across our body. We're in this lunge position and we push all the way down into that lunge position, clean off the table, and then we're going to snap everything back together. Another thing that I'll do with my students is until they're able to get that position, we'll start here. We'll start and we'll just have them try to get as low as they can and then slowly move towards together. So originally when they're doing their spin, it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to get down into that sit position. I find that it's harder for skaters to get down into their sit position because they believe that they need to have their upper body straight when they're doing their sit spin. So they're trying to go down into their sit position while also being completely over the heel of their boot. I like to have my shoulders over my toes. So here, I'm all the way reaching for my toes right here in my sit spin, and I'm trying to sit as low as I can. After skaters are able to get that push in that low squat position, then we'll slowly start to transition into the spin itself. So what I like to remind my skaters is this back arm, for me it's my right arm and my right leg, are going to go together here, and they're almost connected by a string. So they move at the exact same time, and my left arm and my left leg are connected at the same time. So we're here, everything goes together, we push open in the spin, and then everything is gonna snap together. So we wanna have our arms snap together and our legs are going to snap together as well, and that's what's gonna create that speed that we want in the spin. So as we go here, we're in this position, so we're gonna have a nice wind up, and then we're gonna push, get nice and low, and snap everything together at once. It'll be a little bit difficult for skaters to get down into the position that you're looking for on their first few tries of this spin, but I like to have my skaters go and continue to sit as low as they can, even if that results in falling, because it'll get them over that fear of falling, and it'll also get them over that feeling of how low they can actually go in the spin and find where they're actually able to balance themselves doing the actual sit spin. So what we'll do is we'll push, and I'll have my skaters slowly lower themselves into the sit spin all the way as low as they can until there's no more spinning or they fall. Next, we'll move into how to do the spin from a wind up. So this is going to be a very similar transition as what we did for the 1-foot spin. So we're going to go here, and since I spin in a counterclockwise direction, my crossovers are going to be moving in a clockwise direction. So we're going to go this way, we have nice crossovers right here, and then we're going to have that same wind up from our upper body going around this direction where we're facing outside of our circle, and then as we push here, we're going to wipe everything off the table and we're going to sit down into that sit position that we're looking for. So with a little bit more speed, it's going to be much more of a snap, and skaters are going to feel like they're a lot more unbalanced, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to push down into that sit position, but they really need to work on slowly, gradually adding up the speed so that they're able to find that spot where they feel safe to sit and they're hitting that 90 degrees or lower. Now I'm going to demonstrate what a sit spin from moving will look like. And that is how you do a sit spin in figure skating. Thank you for watching. Bye.